Welcome to the video. If I'm going to do a quick intro for who I am, what am I doing, before I get into the meat of the video, the bones of the video, because ultimately most of you guys are newer viewers who haven't subscribed. Maybe they haven't seen my other videos or anything like that. So who am I? I am Tyler. I am a man trying to improve his life. And so to do that, I have to take certain actions to accomplish the goals and what I think is successful, what is being successful in life is. And so to do that, I got to accomplish different goals, different tasks, different goals, and all that stuff. And so I am taking those steps, but I want to record my journey. And so 2 years ago, I moved back with my parents. I got a job at a fast food restaurant. If you want more information, watch my other videos. And I worked there for 2 years while going to college. And I'm about to get my college degree by the end of the year. But however, I felt that staying with my parents limited me in my growth and the things I wanted to do. It wasn't like, they were the worst parents or anything like that, but I had to move. I had to finally find a place of my own. And so I lived in Navarre, Florida, which is near Pensacola, Florida. It's in the Panhandle. If you don't know what Pensacola, Florida is, in Navarre, Florida, it's in the Panhandle of Florida, almost into Alabama, and so I had to in Mississippi, but I moved from there in the beginning of October all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina, the biggest city in North Carolina. I think so. I think that's what it is. I moved there with no friends. I moved here with no friends. That's where I am now. No friends, no connections, no job, no place to rent, nothing. Just some money in my bank account and a 3-day hotel stay that I had booked a week or two in advance because one of the New Year's resolutions was for me to move out, move out of my parents' house, find my own place to live. And so I did that. And so now I've been in Charlotte for maybe like, I would say, yeah, like 3 weeks. Maybe not even that, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And so I've been here. And so I've been trying to stabilize my life, get rid of all the chaos that comes with moving to another state, having nothing to your name, having all your stuff packed in your car, which is what's happening right now. And so I've been doing all that. And so I talk about this in the weekly update that I basically had a ton of chaos in my life, moving out, trying to make friends, make connections, finding a place to live, finding a job, and everything. And so I was able to do that. So slowly that chaos in my life is going away. And so I talk about this on Thursday, but or on Tuesday, but I had a Walmart, my first day of Walmart orientation. I had gotten a job at Walmart. Here's my badge. And you guys probably don't know, but I worked at Walmart for a couple of months between high school and college before going to my first college, which I transferred out of and everything. But I went my first college, what was in Orlando, Florida, which was like 7 hours away from where I lived in Navarre, Florida, or Pensacola, Florida, if you don't know where Navarre is. And so I lived 7 hours away or whatever. But in between me moving and getting my, starting with college or whatever, I worked at Walmart for a couple months, only a couple months or whatever. And so that's what the video is. Today is going to be about my orientation experience. And so that's the topic of this video, my orientation experience, getting a job at Walmart. And so let's talk about it. But I first want to mention that yesterday I also had an interview with Publix. However, I went to the interview, but in the beginning I let them know that I can only work Tuesdays and Thursdays. If that's fine, I can keep doing the interview. If not, thanks for, interviewing, giving me the chance to be interviewed. I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time. But I was really like, I don't want to waste you guys this time as a manager and everything. And he like gave me a handshake. He was like, I appreciate it. And he like checked it or whatever. He was like, I also asked what department they were going to give me, and it was beverage, which I'm assuming is like stocking for all the alcohol and everything. And he was like, sorry, but we really need people for the weekend. I don't think we'll hire you. And I was like, okay, thanks for, and he like shook my hand and he was like, thanks for letting me know. And then so I left or whatever. And the Publix I went to was in a very nice neighborhood. Very nice. I would say it's probably the nicest neighborhood. The area is one of the nicest places in Charlotte. Ballotine, I think it's called. Valentine or whatever. I looked up the suburb that it's in. It's a little bit far away from Charlotte, so if you want to get to like uptown Charlotte, it's kind of like 40 minutes away. Um, However, do think it's pretty nice. And I looked up, it's one of the richer areas of Charlotte. That means less crime. I mean, that usually says in some places in Charlotte where it's really high wealth rate, but it's also really high in crime. But at least in Ballantine or Ballantine, whatever the suburb is, it's very nice. And I hear that's one of the suburbs to move to. And the other one that I like, because I was looking up suburbs, the other one is Matthews. And the crazy thing is, the job I got at the Walmart is in Matthews. And so I was thinking I might get a uh, apartment instead of where I was thinking, that's closer to the center of Charlotte. I'm thinking about getting an apartment in Matthews because I'd only be like 5 minutes away. Right now, it takes me about 45 minutes to get to this Walmart from where I'm running. However, I'm renting by the airport. And that's not a good place to live long term that by the airport because that's where a lot of the crime is. However, like I said, Matthews is one of the best suburbs to live in or whatever, at least for younger people. Ballantine is for older people. It's like the average age I was looking at demographics is like 40, 30 years old, has family or whatever. Majority of the people there work are white collars. It's a richer area than Matthews, but Matthews is more for the younger generation. They do a lot more events, community events and everything. It's more involved. And so whichever one I'm gonna choose. But also these aren't like in the middle of Charlotte, and I like that because I don't have to pay for a lot of parking or anything like that. And there's a lot more space. It's a little bit more rural, I would say. But yeah, let's get in. So that was the first part. So Publix rejected me when they found out my availability wasn't good. But yeah, that was really nice. It was a really nice Publix. The Walmart I'm going to is a really big Walmart with like 50 spots for online shopping. Like, holy crap. It is a big store. Apparently, they have like 70 employees who are all in the online shopping department, which is kind of crazy. That's more employees than I had when I was working out Whataburger, which was the fast food restaurant chain I worked with, which if you don't know if you're live in the northern part of the USA, it's a like southern chain that was developed, I would say, that started in Texas and then it spread over the South. It's really a really good place to eat for fast food, but it's not like, regular food or whatever. Like it's not like going to a grill place or a regular restaurant. However, it's better than most fast food places, I would say. And so I worked there, but let's get back into the Walmart. But it's a huge Walmart. Um, it's in like a plaza thing, but I wouldn't really call it a plaza. It's like a spread out plaza or whatever. I just know Matthews. I'm probably gonna get an apartment here or Ballantine. Ballantine. Ballantine has more apartments than Matthews in my pay range. However, they're not as close. I'd be driving like 30 minutes every single day or 45 minutes every single day. However, it's a lot more convenient than having to go through like a ton of the interstate and everything when I live by the airport to get down here. And that's why it takes 45 minutes because there's so much traffic in Charlotte. If you're using the interstate, if you're using regular roads, it's not as bad. But if you're using any type of like interstate road or I-485 or whatever, any of those, it's really bad, especially during like peak hours. The traffic is really bad even if there is no accident. But yeah, I've been so I got the job, I got the offer or whatever. They didn't even interview. I guess that was a mistake. That's good for me that I got the job, but it'll be part time. The thing is, I saw there were a lot of potential shifts I could pick up in my department because you can only pick up shifts in the department you work in and personal shopping. It's great that there are 70 people because that means there'll probably be a couple of shifts open every week for people who want to switch shifts or like give up a shift because they can't work that day because something happens. Because the thing is they do schedules 3 weeks in advance, which is that's a lot. That means if something comes up, you can't work that day. You either have to put in an absence, and if you don't use the specific PPO, PTO, which is like protection against absences that you accrue. If you don't use specifically that, you get docked a point. And so if something big happens, and let's say you're working multiple days. Let's say there's an accident or whatever. And so that's 70 people who can give up their shift. And so the part-time I'm not really worried about. I can probably pick up some shifts after I start learning everything. And I don't have a problem doing that, picking up shifts, and I should be able to do that. If they give me I'm okay if they give me 3 days of work a week. I don't like it if they only give me 2 days of work, 2 days of work a week, but if they can give me three minimum, I can pick up shifts. I can get a second job, which will put me up 40 hours a week minimum. Okay. That's not if I work those other days where I have off as an Uber Eats person or whatever. I don't want to do Uber Eats because the traffic's really bad. And so, I don't know the area well, so I don't know any of the back roads to get to places and everything. So I don't know about Uber Eats, the however, like I said, if I get a second job on Tuesday and Thursday, because I have put that as my availability that she had to change, is I only work 2 days a week. And so that was um, and so that'll cover me at least full-time work. And if I could get 4 days a week of work, which is like 32 hours a week, that would be perfect. I don't think they're going to give me full-time hours most of the time. However, 4 days a week is perfect. I can always pick up a shift, or I can just have those 4 days and then have one day off and have 2 days at a fast food restaurant or a restaurant or whatever, or some place that lets me work 2 days a week. And so that's the thing is, so I'm hoping they'll give me 3 hours, 3 days a week or 4 days a week. 2 days that's not enough. Um, that's why I'm kind of thankful Publix kind of rejected me because I know they're not going to give me full-time hours. And I don't know if they would give me 4 days a week. They might only give me 2 days, 2 days, 3 days. And so that's very good. And so that's the thing. But let's get into orientation. What was it like? Well, we had to go through a lot of policies from Walmart. She wasn't like the type to really expand upon how good of a job Walmart is or any of that stuff. She got into the meat and potatoes of this is what these are all the policies, the things you need to know, dress code, all that stuff and everything, how to sign in, how to sign out. We learned all that. We created associates accounts for Walmart, for the Walmart app and everything. For me, I didn't really have to do that because I had already worked at Walmart, you know. 2019, 5 years ago, in their system, it looks like I worked 4 years ago. Well, it is what it is. And so that was pretty easy. I was the only one who had worked there before. But yeah, the crazy thing was in the middle of the thing, she was like, oh, I was like, my availability, do you need my availability? I was like, it's kind of messed up because I had already signed in the app while they were trying to set up their apps, their accounts and everything because I had already worked at Walmart. And I was like, well, my availability is messed up. It's like my availability that I had during 2019 and it still hasn't been changed or whatever. And she was like, what? And I was like, I didn't have an interview with you guys, so I didn't get to tell you my availability. It's on the application, but I don't know if you guys saw it because I didn't interview with you guys. And she was like, what? You didn't interview? And then the three people behind me, because there was supposed to be 9, 10 people in the orientation, but only seven showed up. And the people behind me were like, yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't do an interview. And there was five of us who weren't personal shoppers. And they were all like, yeah, I didn't get an interview. We just did the application and then they gave me an offer. And she was like, what? She was not happy. And she's the people lead. That's who was doing the orientation. She's in charge of all the people and everything. She's underneath the person who's in charge of the store. But she's the only one who's paid hourly, which is kind of weird. She's management, but she's the only one who's paid hourly, but she's above pretty much all the rest of the team leads who are in charge of the departments and everything. She's just behind the person in charge of the store, the executive, whatever. But yeah, she was not happy with that or whatever. And one lady behind me was like, yeah, it was kind of weird or whatever. I've never had a job where I didn't have to interview. And I was like, I even said, I was like, it was kind of sketchy. I almost didn't show up or anything because I was kind of weirded out. Like, I didn't say this, but I was going to be like, Are you guys like really desperate for people or whatever? But I was asking things about absences and like, what about absences? Do you have to put them in advance? And she was like, policy is 2 hours, but I'm happy if you just put in the absence or whatever. And I was like, whoa, they must have big problems with like absences and like not showing up and all that stuff. And I got the feeling from that. And so that's maybe why they needed people. And Walmart is a high turnover job or whatever. And so, but yeah, that was pretty nice, but it was just like, oh my God, like, but yeah, that's when I found out we weren't supposed to get an offer until we were interviewed, but she's got to give us the job no matter what because we got the offer. She can't just fire us for nothing. Like that's not applicable. We're already been hired. You can't just fire someone unless they make a mistake. It's against like job laws or whatever. Even if North Carolina doesn't have a lot of like protection for workers, it does have that. So they can't just fire me. They gotta let me work or whatever. So that was probably a bad start to the job or whatever. I was the only one who was really interested in the orientation. The other ones were like surfing along, like lazy and everything. I was asking questions because, this is going to be my job probably for the next year, 2 years, full time. This is what the job is where I'm going to be making a lot of my money, compared to, you know, and even then it'll be part time eventually when I get my accounting job, once I complete my degree. But that's just the thing is but yeah, this will be a job for her. And I was really asking questions, but she kind of looked surprised, I guess, because like I said, the guy next to me was in sports clothes. Like, I can understand if you're wearing shorts, but you're wearing, sweatpants and like, workout clothes to an orientation, like, at a job. Like, okay, I can understand if you wear shorts because Walmart does allow shorts now and everything. But like I said, it was kind of crazy. I was like, the guy next to me, and he was like quiet the whole time. He was like a teenager, it looked like. Um, and so he was a teenager. It looked like he was a teenager or whatever. There was an older guy or whatever who was also hired, but he was hired as like a stalker. But yeah, I was looking up stuff about the online shopping too. What I was going to be doing, like the picking. That's where you pick people's groceries, put them in a cart, scan it with the camera, the groceries in the carts and the cart bins or whatever, and then you take it back to the back, and you have to do a certain amount of picks per hour, stuff like that. And then the people in the back organize it and then take out the order to the customers or whatever. I want to learn all that because I know some stores you do certain stuff, but I want to take up people's hours. I want to pick people's hours up. And so I do need to learn like all the three different parts of my department or whatever. Because like I said, if you don't know, this is going to be like my grind season. I'm going to have to get two jobs to support me enough for my own studio apartment. I got to be working at least full time, but mostly more than full time. So 6 days a week, 7 days a week. And then after that, I got to do work. I got to do my college stuff. I got to be doing stuff to accomplish my dreams too. And that's a different part of the video, but that's going to be either after work or before work, depending on my shift. And so that's gonna take up a lot of time too. And so it's gonna be like 12-hour days where, most of my time is dedicated to getting work done, whether it's at my actual work or getting stuff done to advance my life, to grow my life. And so that's gonna be the hard part because I've never really done that for a long time. Like doing that for the next 2 or 3 years, is a long time. And even when I get the accounting job, I'm gonna try and switch the Walmart job to part-time on the weekends just to save up my money and pay off all my debts and everything and save up some money. And so that's going to take up a lot of time too. That's still going to be, I'm going to be working with no breaks most days, or most weeks I'm not going to get a break. I'm not going to get a day off or whatever. And so that's the hard thing. But yeah, I've been looking at the stuff. If you're an online shopper or whatever, you're going to be walking a lot. I'm going to be walking miles a day, which is good for my health. The bad thing is I'm going to have to eat more to keep up with the calorie burn. Uh, if I want to keep my muscles and everything that I've been building up, if I want to keep up my weight, because like, eventually my goal is to hit, I would say 155 by the time Christmas comes around. So I got that. I got some new earbuds at the Publix too. This is a little bit side thing that I remember. I got some new earbuds at the Publix because I had scoped out the Publix. I got there like an hour before, so I went in, got some stuff, used the bathroom, and I got a birthday card for someone I knew who's it's their birthday or whatever. So I got a card for them because I didn't want to forget. And I got to mail it to them because I'm in a completely new place or whatever. And so I got to mail that card to them. That's the first time I've ever mailed something. And so I got to go to the UPS. But that's in November. It's in November, but I got the card so I don't forget in my case. And then today, this is a side thing that I got to do is after my work, and we're just going to be doing the computer stuff, all the e-learning. That'll probably take, she said it at max probably takes like 4 hours for even the best people, worst people who take the longest, 4 hours. And so it'll probably be a short shift. So I can go to the self-storage place because I put in a reservation. uh, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna drop off some of my books and everything that are in my car because my car is pretty much full, and I'm not gonna be able to fit everything I have in my car because I bought some stuff. I bought a table for college work or whatever that I could put my computer on and my webcam on to do my college work. And so that takes up a lot of space because it's one of the bigger tables that are foldable, that are like the white ones that you can push up the legs or whatever. And so I have to go by the storage unit after work today on office hours to, get everything set up at the place with the person there, and then I'll be able to put all of my boxes full of books and my guitar or whatever because it's just been sitting in my guitar. Thankfully, it's not like Florida where it's at like 80-degree weather. Um, that's another thing. The weather in Charlotte is very nice. It's very beautiful too. It gets up to 70 sometimes, but that's in like the peak of the day. Most of the day it's at 60, 50. At night it's at like 40. And so it's really beautiful. And all the trees with like all the orange and everything, orange leaves and everything. It's a beautiful place to live. Problem is it's really hilly, so the roads are up and down. And for a small car like me, a Honda Civic, it's not very good. It kind of sucks. But however, that's the only bad thing. I'm used to flat roads, where the roads here go up and down, and the houses are on slants and everything. But yeah, and back to the orientation. And so, like I said, some people were like they're coasting along, they just need the job, and then others were like more serious. Like I was more serious. I was the one who asked the most questions during orientation. Uh, I guess. So that's the thing. I was the most serious one. After today, there'll be another day where I'm training. I'll probably train for the next day, 2 days, 3 days for training or whatever, and then I'll be set on my own and everything. It looks like an easy job from what I've seen from the YouTube videos because you can look up what a person does for each position and they record their position on what they're doing or whatever and their employees. And so the digital shopping one, I see that it's probably the one of the easier jobs, but the problem is you're going to be constantly walking, so you're going to be burning a ton of calories. Now a cashier has to stand for the whole 8 hour shift or whatever. However, the thing with that is they're not moving, so they burn less calories. They burn a lot, but not as much as I'm having to walk the whole store multiple times. From what I saw, it was like you're walking multiple miles per day per shift. And so, however, like I said, you get an hour break, and this is in like a little plaza, so I can always get food. I might bring my lunchbox with food in it, and I hear the microwaves are really bad. You don't want to use microwaves at Walmart. So I don't know. I might make sandwiches or something to eat and work. The only thing is my availability was 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., I think. I just hope they don't give me a night shift where I work till 11 p.m. and then I have a 5 a.m. shift the next day. I'll have to talk to him about it because then I'm only getting like 4 hours of sleep. Because like at least right now I gotta wake up 2 hours before my shift to get on time because it takes like 45 minutes to get here. But then I gotta wake up, cook breakfast, all that stuff, and I gotta eat before my shift. That's like a no go. I have to eat before my shift. And so I gotta make eggs and everything, gotta clean the dishes and everything. Once I have my own place, I'll have a lot of time. I'll be able to like soak the dishes in water. I don't have to clean them immediately after. And so uh, I would have more time. So I probably would be able to wake up a little bit later before my shift. But I want a place that's like 15 minutes max from this area. And like I said, Matthews has a lot of jobs too, so I can probably get a fast food job that's near the Walmart and everything and just work 2 days a week on that and then go to Walmart the rest of the week. But yeah, that's my goal. The only bad thing is the Barnes and Nobles is a little bit far away from me. And that's like really one of the only chain stores of bookstores or whatever that has a place where you can sit and get Wi-Fi and everything and do some work. So it's a little bit far away, but not too far, like maybe 20 minutes. And so I might, if I get an apartment nearby, I might just go back to that apartment if it's a studio apartment and then just do my work on a desk or whatever. It is what it is. Right now, the goal in my life right now is really to g- get my degree because that'll get better opportunities and a better job. And then also my YouTube, and then my goals, my action stuff, my creative processes. I haven't decided on the medium. Writing, video games, movies, all that stuff. Trying to create art because 10 years from now, you're gonna have to have an audience. I mean, you need to have an audience because AI is going to take over most jobs, and there's going to be a ton of AI, so it's going to be hard to get out of the pack if you don't already have an audience. So it's going to be hard to attract people to your audience, to watch your videos for specifically for YouTube or read your books, all that stuff, because there's going to be millions of AI agents making books while you're writing a book or making YouTube videos while you're making YouTube, whatever it is. And so that's the thing is so 10 years from now. So that's part of the thing I'm doing. But also, like I said, getting the college degree so I eventually can make this job, Walmart job, part time. The good thing is it's not a very hard job, the picker I'm doing, being an online shopper. And so it won't exhaust a lot of my mental energy. But of course, I'll still be exhausted after work, but I really gotta grind hard and get all of my stuff done for a better life. So you guys are holding me accountable. But like I said, that's the Walmart orientation. That was the surprise. Is another thing was also because I had worked for a couple of months. I don't know if I mentioned this in the video at Walmart or whatever. My availability was put out what I was at my old Walmart, my old Walmart job, and so that screwed up stuff. And she had to mess with the availability and all that. And I didn't even know what my availability was because they didn't give me an interview. And so that was the crazy thing. But yeah, like I said, I also put in my I-9 forms. So you have to have identification if you want to work in the US if they don't want to see you. If you're not working under the table getting paid cash or anything, what really happens is you have to have a social security and you have to have or you don't have to have a social security. You have to have an identification that shows your identity, which could be anything from a passport, a state ID, a birth certificate, and then you have to have proof that you can work in the USA. So, for example, I use the birth certificate, which proves proof of work because I'm a U.S. citizen from that. But I use my state ID, my Florida ID, that proves that my identity is real. You could also use a social security card in the birth certificate, whatever it is. So I got that all done. So today I don't have to bring that in. Most of the people who did orientation didn't complete the I-9 form or anything like that. And so they had to put that information in. And so that took up some time in the orientation. Another crazy thing was the guy who was supposed to walk us around the store and everything, he went on his hour-long break because he was working 8 hours. So he got an hour-long break. So that's today. We were going to do it last time. I'll probably get my vest this time because I didn't get my vest. She was working overtime. She was supposed to clock out the people lead. However, she had to do orientation. I don't think she was the original orientation person. I don't know for sure that I could be wrong. That don't take my word for it. Uh, but yeah, apparently I found out you get 15-minute breaks every two 15-minute breaks if you have a 6 hour shift. If you have an 8 hour shift, you get two 15-minute breaks plus sorry, my alarm went off for my work. And then you get an hour-long break if you have an 8 hour shift. However, no matter what, you're supposed to get two 15-minute breaks. I was a cashier at Walmart. That never happened. You had to beg to use the bathroom and everything and turn your light off to go do whatever. But we were also kind of screwed because there weren't a lot of cashiers. They didn't hire a lot, so we were understaffed. Another problem is I was one of the only cashier people who works the cashier who was 18 or above. And so we mostly had teenagers who were 16, 17, and then they couldn't do the register with all the lotteries. And at the time, that's how you got lotteries. You didn't go in to a machine that was on the side by customer service. No, you had to go through a specific line, and I wasn't able to do it. And also, you weren't able to scan for alcohol unless you were certain. You can take someone's ID and say, okay, they're over 21, so I can let them take that alcohol. You usually had to get someone else to do it if you were 16, 17, because of state rules or whatever, I think, or government rules. And so they didn't hire enough adults. So I was always having to run around and do that stuff and everything. And it helped that they had like a wine center place, another part of the store that was for wine, whatever next to the store. It was a store that was connected to the Walmart that was just for wine. And that you had to have someone who was, over a certain age to do that. And so you had to have two adults at the registers at all times, one to be the lottery and one to do the wine station or whatever, the wine part. And so that was always a problem, but I never got those 15-minute breaks. And apparently you have to do them. You can't just be like, I'm not going to take them or whatever. No, because then it counts as like lunch stuff or whatever. And if you don't take your lunch, it's even worse. And they might make you like stay an extra hour to take a lunch or something like that, or you get in trouble if you don't take your lunch. And so that was the thing. Like that was always a problem for me as a cashier at Walmart. So I'm happy they're more into that and about giving lunch breaks and giving breaks, but also giving lunches. But also I'll be more independent, instead of just a cashier where there's a manager always watching over me like it was before with as a uh, online shopper. I'll be in the back and maybe have one team lead watching over us, but like they're not, it's not, I'm more independent as a person. If I'm picking, I'm by myself, picking groceries or whatever, like picking up groceries and putting them in carts for people's online orders. And so that's the way. And so but yeah, that was my orientation experiment experience or whatever. It was pretty nice, but like I said, I think like half the people there were just like they were just slugging through. It's just another job. It's like bored. And then another half, I guess the thing is they weren't really motivated. And then the other half were like happy to get a job and everything, but also they were motivated. They were more into, like one guy was on his phone the whole orientation. That probably didn't get her on her good side. That people lead or whatever that year the whole time during orientation. Now we had to have our phones to like open up the app and like do stuff on the app while she was showing us the app where we could take absences on the app or clock in and out on the app. We were on our phones so we could see it through the app and she was showing it and everything. But other parts, like people were on their phones whenever she was talking about other stuff, which was like the benefits and everything. And so, but yeah, that was the uh really really, but yeah, I was happy with the orientation. And of course, I scoped out the store before, like I went through the store and everything when I got there and all that stuff. And it's a pretty good store. The bathrooms weren't great, but that's all of them. I went to the Publix bathroom when I went to Publix, and even that type of store didn't have a good bathroom. It wasn't clean or anything. And that Publix, the rest of the Publix was a really nice Publix. Like everything was clean. There were enough cashiers. And I like talked to the customer service person while I waited, while to let him know that I was there for an interview and everything. It was a beautiful store. However, like I said, the bathroom was crap, and just like this one where the bathroom was crap. So I can't really give him crap about that, but like the rest of the store is pretty nice. I mean, it's a Walmart, so it's never going to be as good as like Publix or anything in terms of lighting and the other stuff and everything. But it's still a pretty good store. It's a really big store too. Um, but yeah, I'm happy I got the job. From what I hear, it's a pretty easy job, easy department. Like if I was in Delhi or whatever, I'd run. But yeah, but also it can depend on the managers too. That's what the job. I liked my Whataburger job because the managers were really good. They cared about you, at least in the beginning. Later on, not as much, but they were. It was still a nice place to live. Those were probably my best managers, no matter what. And so, however, that was the part I didn't like the actual job of making burgers. My health was bad. My skin was a lot worse because I was always, constantly at the end. I was working full time at Whataburger, 40 hours a week, and so that made my skin a lot worse. 2 days a week isn't bad, but I would prefer if I didn't have to do it. But that's probably going to be the only place that gives me 2 days of work, and so I'm gonna have to. But like 2 days is okay. But it's just like my health will be a lot better. The actual job will be a lot better. Now, the actual managers, I don't know. we'll have to see. But yeah, I got my Walmart application. I'll probably get my job. I'll probably get my vest. But yeah, today after the orientation, I'll probably only take a couple hours. I gotta go to the self storage, meet the office or whatever. Pay the. I'm gonna probably pay in cash. Move my books. That's what most of the space is. Is move my books. If you look up, I got a ton of stuff in my car. Move my guitar. That's in the new next to me. My guitar in my backpack. I gotta move my guitar case, which is right here. Gotta move it. Gotta move that into the self storage and everything. I'm gonna be okay if I lose my guitar. That's fine. I'll be okay if I lose my books or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna put very valuable stuff in it. I might put one of the baskets of my clothes in there, but I'm not really worried about it. And I'm only gonna be doing it for a month until I have an apartment and then move all that stuff in and cancel the self storage. And I can pay in cash too, so I might do that, and so they can't charge my credit card for extra months and me have to dispute it and all that stuff. I might be able to do that. So that's the cool part. But yeah, it's basically 9:37. I gotta go to work at 10. That's when the second part of my orientation starts. And then after all that, I think I'm just gonna be doing training for a couple days, depending on if they really need me and if they can spare the people. It might only be for a day or two. It might be for a week. I don't know. And then I'll have the job. I'll probably, after the first week of being by myself, I'll probably start to pick up shifts. And I'll do that if they're not giving me full-time hours, because I need the money. However, I might put that off because I do need to find a place to rent. And there were two places I could rent from. Problem is they're far away from Walmart and they're not in the best areas of town, but they're not in the worst. Okay. They're still in the southern parts, which is the more safe area, at least in general. In the richer parts of the area is the southern parts, and the eastern parts of Charlotte or that. And so I could go that, but like I said, I didn't. I'm trying to see if I can get an apartment that's like 5 minutes from the Walmart, 10, 50. That's in Matthews or in Ballantine, which is where that Publix was. Bellantine, whatever the name is for that suburb, and get an apartment there because that's even nicer than Matthews. Now the problem is it's not like the best place for a 20-year-old who wants to go out or whatever, and there's not as much social activities. It's a more quiet, rural place. So there's not as much stuff to do. However, it's safer. It's a more richer area. There's better schools, all that stuff. So I have to make that decision. And now the rent probably will be a little bit higher. So I gotta make the decision. I gotta see. I gotta find out some more apartment places in Matthews that are nearby. I might ask some of my coworkers while I'm training what are some good places to rent an apartment from, a studio apartment from. But yeah, that's it for the video. It's been 37 minutes. It's almost time for me to go into the Walmart and clock in. We'll have to see all that stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. I believe in you. I'm starting my Walmart job. I gotta go to the self-storage. This is like a little bit of a mini update video. So, but yeah, my orientation. I gotta do orientation. I gotta watch videos for a couple hours. Do some e-learning, but I'm serious. Have a fantastic day. I believe in you. You can do it. The chaos in my life is slowly going into stability. Go on, do your hard jobs. I'm on the grind season. What is you guys' season? Are you guys on the relationship season? You're focusing on making more friends, dating. Are you focused on money? Are you focused on your family? Whatever it is. Are you focused on education? You're going to college, or maybe you're learning on the job for something. You're getting paid less for a job because you want to learn a lot more, and that job trains you a lot more than another job that pays less for you or pays more. So, but that's it for the video. Have a great day. I'll see you on not I'll see you on Tuesday, hopefully. We'll see. You'll see how my life is going by then, but have a fantastic day. I'll see you then. That's it for the video. But I gave you my question that you can put in the comments. I gave you a thing to think about. But that's it. Have a fantastic day. I believe in you. Let's go. I gotta go into the Walmart. Gotta do some work. Gotta do some work for 4 hours. Gotta go to the self-storage, which is like 5 minutes away. Gotta do all that stuff. It'll be the first time I'm using a storage unit. So I'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. That's it for the video. I'll have a wadatastic day, fantastic day, awesome day. I'm going to use another word, awesome day, because the weather outside is beautiful. My job, I'm about to start my job. I'm getting paid for that, doing this e-learning, so I'm getting paid. I'll probably get $60 today. I'm making $60 today after not having a job for like 3 weeks. More than that, actually, like 4 to 5, pretty much a month and a half to a month. I haven't had a job because I quit a week or two before I moved out. And so I'll be making money for the first time. Well, yes, Tuesday I did make some money for orientation, but it was only for like 2 hours, an hour and a half. But today I'm going to be working like 3 to 4 hours. So I'm going to be making money. That's all I got to do. $60. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to probably be making. That's it. Go on. I hope you guys have something beautiful in your life. What's something that you're happy about? But that's it for the video. I gotta end the video. I never like ending this video. I'm never good with the exit intros. That's it. Have a fantastic day. I shall see you Tuesday minimum. Maybe I might make a video on Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, depending on my schedules, how Walmart's going to schedule me, all that stuff. But Tuesday, I'll make a video. Thanks for watching either before or after work if I have the work. Well, no, I don't have works on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So never mind. I will make a video. I won't have work those days because of Walmart. I decided not to work on Tuesday and Thursday. That's my only availability. But that's it for the video. Have a fantastic day. I shall see you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.